A very good o'clock, dear students. Here I am Nikita ma'am, your geography teacher. Today starting the explanation of third chapter, that is rotation and revolution of the earth. Students, it is the most important chapter in our syllabus, as we are already aware that rotation and revolution of the earth are the two movements that earth makes, one in a day and one in a year, another in an year. And these rotation and revolution of the earth means these movements are responsible for many important phenomena taking place on the earth, let us say day and night phenomena or the seasonal changes. Okay, so let us study about these movements in detail. In the previous lesson we studied that the earth is one of the 8 planets, and all planets have two types of motion. The earth also has two motions. Okay, one is it spins on its axis. Okay, the earth has an axis running from north to south, connecting the north pole to the south pole. That is the axis of the earth, and the rotation of the earth about 24 hours on this axis is known as the rotation. Okay, simultaneously the earth goes around the sun. Okay, as all planets move around the sun, the earth also moves around the sun, and this movement of the earth around the sun is known as the revolution, which it completes in about 365 days and 6 hours. Okay, so now what is the axis? If you join the north pole and south pole of earth by a straight line passing through the center of the earth, then that will be a line a little slightly tilted. Okay, that will not be exactly a 90-degree line, or you can say perpendicular, but that will be a slightly tilted line. That is the axis of the earth. Okay, and earth moves around this axis, rotates on its axis with a speed of about 1600 kilometers per hour, and thus completes a journey of 40,000 kilometers. That is the circumference of the earth. Okay, now let us come to the tilt of the earth axis. What is the effect of this tilt of the earth axis on the phenomena taking place on the earth? So we all enjoy the seasons change on earth from winter to spring and so on. Many people assume that our planet's changing distance from the sun results in the changing of seasons, which is far from true. Means we suppose that the revolution of the earth leads to change in the seasons, but the actual reason is that instead our earth has seasons because earth planet's axis of rotation is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degree relative to its orbital plane. Okay, what is this orbital plane? This is the plane of the earth's orbit around the sun. So earth has a circular path around the sun in which it moves around the sun, that is called the orbital plane. Okay, and the earth is tilted on this orbital plane by 23.5 degree. Okay, earth's axis is tilted to 23.5 degree relative to its orbital plane, and thus what happens that the axis of the earth makes that is 90 minus 23.5 equals to 66 upon 66.5 angle with the plane of earth's orbit. Okay, so here you can see that this axis of the earth, which is tilted 23.5 degree, it makes the angle of, this is the plane of earth's orbit. Okay, and hence it makes the angle of 66.5 degree with the earth's orbit. Okay, it is tilted by 23.5 degree. This is the 90-degree angle. This is slightly tilted by 23.5 degree. Okay, and but it makes an angle of 66.5 degree with the earth's orbit, and this tilting of the axis is called the inclination of the earth's axis. This is called the inclination of the earth axis. So while rotating, what happens, the earth also moves around the sun, means while rotating it's on revolution also. Okay, since the rotation and revolution movement take place together, दोनों movements साथ साथ होते हैं. The speed of the earth in its journey around the sun is 1,20,000 kilometers per hour. Okay, this is the speed of the revolution of the earth. It completes one revolution in 1 year, and this annual motion of the earth is called revolution. The rotation of the earth on its axis and its revolution around the sun is responsible So rotation and revolution both together are responsible for many phenomena, many events taking place like day and night and change of seasons, etc. Okay. Now coming towards what is rotation. Rotation is the turning around of the earth on its axis from west to east. Okay, so the rotation, direction of rotation क्या है? West to east. So that is very important to be remembered. In the previous chapter we also studied that because of this west to east rotation, the time in the eastern hemisphere runs ahead of the prime meridian, है ना. prime meridian से आगे time चलता है because of this west to east rotation. Now rotation causes all parts of the earth's surface except the poles to move in a circle around the earth's axis. All the parts of the earth rotate around its axis except the poles. Although the speed of rotation varies from place to place, okay, the speed of rotation is different from place to place, but it is constant at any given place. Okay, but that speed is constant at that given place. Okay, मतलब हर जगह अगर दो जगह की स्पीड को कंपेयर करें तो वो रोटेशन की स्पीड अलग आएगी. लेट अस सपोज इन एशिया एंड इन America, okay, the speed will be different. But if we compare regarding Asia only, the speed is constant. Okay, the speed in Asia itself is constant. So this is the reason why that we do not experience any sense of motion, क्योंकि हमारे पास जो स्पीड है दैट इज़ कांस्टेंट, इसीलिए हमें स्पीड ऑफ मोशन जो है या कोई सेंस ऑफ मोशन नहीं होता है. अर्थ रोटेट कर रही है, रिवॉल्व कर रही है, वी डू नॉट हैव एनी सेंस ऑफ मोशन, हमें पता नहीं चलता. सो ऑफन वन कैन गेट द सेम इम्प्रेशन इन अ मॉडर्न, जैसे मॉडर्न जेट लाइनर्स होते हैं, उनकी स्पीड इतनी स्मूथ होती है, इतनी स्मूथ फ्लाइट होती है, ऐसा लगता है कि कंफर्टेबल रूम में बैठे हुए हैं, लिविंग रूम में. ओके, इट डजंट सीम्स लाइक इट द प्लेन इज फ्लाइंग. ओके, only while the takeoff and the landing we feel some sense of motion. Now what are the effects of this earth's rotation? First is the east-west movement. Since the earth rotates from west to east, we can see that sun is rising in the east and it is setting in the west. Okay, so this rise in east and setting in the west phenomena of sun or the activity of the sun is the result of west to east movement of the earth. Day and night are caused, we already know that when earth rotates around its axis, only half of the part is visible towards the sun and the other half then comes in front of sun in the next 24 hours. Okay, so at a time only half part of the earth is facing towards the sun, and this causes day and night at various places. Okay, then comes the circulation of air and wind. Okay, this variation in exposure to sunlight greatly influences the local temperature, humidity and wind movement. One point here is that day and night rotation also causes influences on local temperature, humidity and wind movements too. Okay, circulation of air and water. The earth's rotation causes a consistent change in the direction and flow of wind and water of the oceans, because the force produced by the rotation of the earth causes change in the direction of the winds and water towards the right in the northern hemisphere एंड टुवर्ड्स दी लेफ्ट इन दी सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर. आपको पता है अर्थ के रोटेशन से एक फोर्स पैदा होता है जिसे कहते हैं कोरियोलिस फोर्स. ओके, ये जो कोरियोलिस फोर्स होता है वो अर्थ पे चलने वाली विंड या वाटर के डायरेक्शन को सॉरी चेंज कर देता है नॉर्थवर्ड इन दी right in the northern hemisphere and towards left in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so the sun is the source of heat and light. Also it gives light only half of the earth at given time. So जो dark part होता है जिस टाइम पे जो half part सन को फेस कर रहा है उसके पीछे का जो डार्क पार्ट होता है जहाँ पे लाइट नहीं पहुँच रही है, दैट इज़ नोन एज दी shady region. And then there is a line which divides these day and night parts. Okay, अर्थ को वो डे और नाइट पार्ट में डिवाइड करने वाली एक लाइन है जो मूविंग होती है, ट्रैवलिंग बाउंड्री होती है. मतलब जब जो है रोटेशन के साथ साथ वो बाउंड्री चेंज होती रहती है और अर्थ को 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करती है कॉन्स्टेंटली, एक पार्ट जिसमें लाइट है और दूसरा पार्ट जो कि शेडेड है। ओके, सो दिस लाइन और दिस सर्कल इज कॉल्ड द सर्कल ऑफ इल्यूमिनेशन। इसको क्या कहते हैं? सर्कल ऑफ इल्यूमिनेशन। ओके, इल्यूमिनेशन मीन्स लाइटिंग। So while rotating 1/2 of the earth, if earth stops rotating, what happen? अगर earth rotate करना stop कर देगी तो permanently जो part sun को face कर रहा है वहाँ पे light हो जाएगी, day हो जाएगा, and permanently जो part sun को face नहीं कर रहा है वहाँ पे night हो जाएगी। Okay, so this is the importance of rotation of the earth. If earth will stop rotating, then it will create a problem for us. Okay, and what happens that sometimes we feel that the during day we feel that sun appears to be moving from east to west. दिन के टाइम में हमें ऐसा लगता है कि सन जो है वो ईस्ट से वेस्ट की तरफ चल रहा है, मूव कर रहा है, बट एक्चुअली इट इज़ नॉट दैट, इज़ द अर्थ दैट मूव्स, नॉट दी सन। अर्थ मूव करती है, सन मूव नहीं करता, सन रिमेन्स स्टिल। ओके, that's all for today. We'll continue it in the next video. Thank you.